So last video, I covered the longest straight line you can sail on, going straight through the ocean, not hitting land a single time in the world. And that went from here in Pakistan to the left of Madagascar, under Chile, through past Antarctica, all the way up here to Russia and very eastern Siberia. Now, let's look at the farthest straight line that you can go on through land. So, according to MIT Technology Review, which is where I found this line at, this is the longest straight line currently known to in the world. And I highly doubt you could find a longer line than this while not going over any ocean. So you start all the way over here at the tip of Portugal. And if you actually want to walk this straight line, kind of like GeoWizard's challenges, where he walks in a completely straight line across England or across Scotland or wherever, well, this will be another beast. So you have to start all the way here in Portugal. You cross through the border to Spain, and then you get to the Pyrenees Mountains. This is already a 600-mile stretch of just brutal terrain. And then you're hit with the Pyrenees Mountains, which are not an easy mountain range and are not small. So then you go through France, and then you hit the gauntlet, which is the Alps. So you're going through Italy a little bit, through Switzerland, a little bit through Liechtenstein, actually, and then Germany, Austria, Czechia. Just a really brutal gauntlet of a stretch here. After that point, you're getting through Poland, which will be a lot of farmlands through this area. And then you're getting through, I think, the most impossible part of this challenge in today's day and age, which is this section of Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia, really close to where a lot of the, what I'll say, action is going on now. So I don't get demonetized. Um, After this point, you have a very, very long section across all, or a huge part of Russia, just to get to Kazakhstan, where you're going through basically the longest section of it. After all of that, you'll hit the Gobi Desert, which is a really, really high plateau where it's extremely remote. Basically, no water or rain falls in this area either. And no one's going to help you if you get lost out here. You barely go through any cities, just near this one city, Hami, one point, but none of the others. And then you hit China, and there's a lots of rolling hills slash not even hills but mountains through this entire area for the entire section of China, basically, until you hit the border really close to Zhengzhou here, and you finally hit the end around 7,000 miles or 11,200 kilometers away. Now, I don't think this would be feasibly possible for anyone to actually do a straight line mission in. And I'll change this to the non-globe view for now so we can see it a little more clearly. So in a lot of GeoWizard's challenges, he gives himself a little bit of error room, right? It's going to be impossible to go perfectly in a straight line without veering off a couple meters. So on his challenges, he says if you go outside of 100 meters, then the mission is a fail. Now, this challenge would be impossible to not veer out with of more than 100 meters because, I mean, a lot of the Alps, like, it's unrealistic to not be within 100 meters of some of these just cliffs and everything that you're going through, especially a lot of the cities. So maybe a more realistic option for the error margin of how far you can deviate from the straight line, if you were to walk this entire thing, would be 1 kilometer, maybe 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. That would even leave it open to being drivable for a lot of the sections. There's obviously still a lot of hurdles, even if you give yourself, 20 kilometers outside the line that you can veer. There's going to be a lot of sections with very little road access. The Alps at least has a decent amount of roads, but once you get here to Kazakhstan and the Gobi Desert and even parts of China, it's just going to be well impossible to do any of that. But let me know down in the comments what you think the margin for how far you should be able to deviate across this line could be, and do you think this is actually doable one day as a extremely epic journey? There is that guy that ran all the way from the bottom of Africa to the top of Africa. So people have done extremely long adventures like that before, and there's always people biking from the very top of Alaska all the way to the bottom of Argentina. But obviously, they have to make some modifications. Like they're not going to cross the Darien Gap. They have to take a ferry from Panama to Colombia. So maybe there's some modification to this line that will make it easier. But then it's not a perfectly straight line. Well, anyway, let me know down in the comments what you think about this and what I should cover next.